Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the national integration. Okay, that is a topic on which we have been discussing. And basically under this topic, these all are the topics that we have scheduled for the discussion, like the introduction part, like the meaning of national integration, like the aims of national integration, like the role of various factors in promoting the national integration, like the obstacles to the national integration, like the National Integration Council, like the National Foundation for Communal Harmony. Okay, so these are the topics that we have scheduled for the discussion. Out of this, basically we have done with the introduction part. We have done with the meaning of national integration. We have done with the aims of national integration. We have done with the roles of various factors in promoting the national integration. And the topic on which we have been discussing, that is the obstacles to national integration. All right. National Integration Council and the National Foundation for Communal Harmony. These topics are the topics we are left with. Okay. So this is the picture that we have created so far all together. I hope that you have revised the previous lecture in the well enough manner. Before you have come for this lecture, as many times I have told you that is for your own benefit. So if you are doing this on the regular basis, the thing will be much more beneficial for you. If you are not doing this on the regular basis, the thing will be hard for you. That's a killer cut truth. So now, as we know, we are talking about the obstacles to the national integration. Obstacles to the national integration. All right. So far, we have done with the regionalism, the communalism, the casteism, and the last one is the linguism. Okay. So linguism is a topic that is a last topic that we are required to talk about. So basically, if we talk about the linguism, in its name, you could conclude the lingual. Okay. And as we know, the word lingual basically states for the language. Okay. So if we talk about the linguism, that means the love for one's own language and hatred towards the other language speaking people. Okay. It means that if we talk about the individual that is under the effect of linguism, the individual, you can say, is basically having the love for the language he is speaking, but having the hatred to the language the other people are speaking, and the language that is not the language he speaks. For example, there is a person, okay, who speaks Hindi. So he likes Hindi, he loves Hindi. But then he found a person who speaks Marathi. Then what will happen? He hated the people, he hated the other person. Why? Because the person not belong to the language group he belongs, or not talking with him in the language he likes. All right. Similarly, if there is any person who speaks Tamil, okay, he loves the Tamil language, but he met with another person who speaks the Malayali language. Then the person who speaks the Tamil hating the Malayali people. Why? Because they are not speaking the Tamil he loves for. Okay. So whenever this kind of situation is on the ground, that is known as the linguism. All right. And if we talk about the phenomena of linguism, like that of the regionalism, we have talked about communalism, we have talked about, and the casteism we have talked about. Okay. So linguism is also a consequence of the political process. Okay. So we can say, like the other three obstacles that having the grassroots in the political process, the phenomena of linguism is also having the, you can say, roots in the political process. All right. It is also generated because of the political inertia that is basically focusing on the promotion of one language over others just for the political gains or just for the political interest. Further, if we track down the linguism, we will see the two dimensions of it. How many dimensions? Two dimensions of it. The first dimension is the reorganization of the states on the basis of language. The reorganization of states on the basis of language. The second is the determination of the official language of the union. Okay, these two are one of the you can say main concerns of the Indian Union still today. Why? Because if we track down the history, then we must start it from the British era, like when the Britishers left the country in the 1947. Okay, then we know India was not like as we see today. Okay, India was basically divided into the two domains, the British India and the princely state. The British India comprised of the you can say territory that was occupied by the Britishers. Okay, while the princely states were the independent states that had accepted the paramountcy of the Britishers, but they were allowed to rule in their own domain. Okay, so basically on that time we merged the states and all, but the map of India, the political map of India was not like as we see it today. Okay, basically on that time India had the four categories: part A, part B, part C, and part D. Part A consisted of the erstwhile governor general provinces. Okay, part B consists of the erstwhile chief minister provinces, and sorry, part B consists of the erstwhile princely states which having the legislature. Part C consists of the chief minister provinces. All right, and the part D is consisted of the Andhra Pradesh alone. Okay, so basically at first we accepted that these parts are suitable and we should continue with them. Over the period of time, we you can say assumed, and even you can say we accepted that with following of these parts we will not be able to administer the country. All right, then what happened? We got a task to reorganize the states in a proper manner. So what should be the basis? On the same time, when we were thinking about reorganization of the state, like how we could reorganize them, at the same time many parts of India were demanding the reorganization of states on the basis of language. For example, you can say if someone is speaking Punjabi, then the particular area must be Punjab. Someone is speaking Marathi, particular area must be Maharashtra. Someone is speaking Telugu, the area must be Andhra Pradesh and all. So that was the demanding. But in India there is no single language. In India there are almost thousands of languages that speak. Official languages are 22, but there are many languages also. All right, so that was one of the biggest challenge. Like if we will go with the organization of the states on the basis of language or the linguistic basis, so how many states we will be able to organize? How many? That was one of the major tasks in front of us. Okay, and to balance this, basically we appointed various committees. Like first is the Dhar committee. We appointed the Dhar committee and tasked it to look after the reorganization of the state on the linguistic basis. The Dhar committee rejected the idea to organize the state on the linguistic basis. They suggested that basically the administrative purpose must be accepted instead of language. Okay, but thereafter the demand was still growing to organize the states on the linguistic basis. Then what happened? The JVP committee was appointed. JVP was under the three men: Jawaharlal Nehru, J, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, V, and V. Patapi Sitaramaiah, P. So the JVP committee was also looking on the same matter as the matter was given to the Dhar committee. And JVP committee too concluded that the reorganization of states on the linguistic basis is not a good idea. But then what happened? The state of Andhra Pradesh was created. The state of Andhra Pradesh was created. on the basis of Telugu language. So when the state created, other areas were also demanding the same. Like if the Andhra Pradesh could be created on the basis of language, why not the other areas? Okay. So finally, the Fazal Ali Commission was appointed, and that was the last commission. All right. So on the basis of these inputs and all, then we know the Reorganization of the States Act 1956 was passed, and various states were established on the basis of administrative convenience as well as linguistic basis. Okay. So that's how the first concern was resolved, but not even it is fully resolved. So we can say this concern has been resolved up to some extent, but not fully resolved. The second concern was the determination of the official language of the union. Okay. Like what should be the official language of the union, in which language the government will, you can say, publish its drafts and all, in which language the government will do certain things and all. So that was also the one of the major concerns. Like many of the members of the Constituent Assembly that were tasked to drafting the constitution, they were demanding that Hindi should be the official language of the union because the most of the population speaks Hindi. Okay. Some of them advocating the English, while some of them advocating the regional languages. All right. So this concern is still a bone of contention in India. This concern has not been fully resolved. Okay. So these were the two dimensions that had the linguism. Okay. First, the reorganization of states on the basis of language. Second, the determination of the official language of the union. So the creation of first linguistic state of Andhra, that was formed from the presidency of Madras in 1953, led to the countrywide divide for the reorganization state on the basis of language, like as I have told you. When the government was deciding that whether they should establish the states on the basis of language and all, on that time, because of the heavy demand, okay, and other things, basically the state of Andhra Pradesh was formed out from bifurcated the Madras presidency in the 1953, and the basis of creating the state of Andhra was the language of Telugu. Okay. Then other areas were also started demanding the reorganization of states on the basis of language. Okay. So as per the result, or consequently, states were reorganized on the large scale in the 1956. Okay. Like Reorganization of States Act 1956. And that was done on the basis of recommendations made by the State Reorganization Commission, also the Fazal Ali Commission, 1953 to 1955. Okay. But even the large scale reorganization was done in the 1956. But everything was not completed even in that year. It means that, however, we tried our best to resolve this issue. But this issue left its roots even after this reorganization. So we can say, even after this, the political map of India underwent a continuous change. Continuous change implies that the change was never stopped, it had been in the country. And this was due to the pressure of popular agitations and the political conditions. Okay. And that resulted in the bifurcation of existing states, like the states of Bombay. Okay. Bombay was the presidency of that time, Bombay presidency. Punjab was also United States of that time. Assam was also the United States. And many other states that were existing during that year, these states were bifurcated to form a new states because of the pressure on the linguistic basis organization. All right. By the end of 2000, the number of states and the union territories had reached 28 and 7 from that of 14 and 6 in 1956. Okay. So we can say when in the 1956 the states were reorganized. Okay. Then basically How many states were there in India? There were total 14 states and 6 union territories. 14 states and 6 union territories. And if we talk about today's, then this is 29, this is 9. Okay. Why it is written 28 and 7? Because that is the data of 2000. Like by the end of 2000, in India, there existing 28 states and the 7 UTs, union territories. Okay. If we focus on this, what I said, in India today there is 29 states. Current year is 2024. In the year of 2024, there are 29 states. And in the year of 2000, there were 28 states. It means that one state was added after the 2000. What was the name of that state? That is an analytical question. Why? Because many times I have told you the answer. So you are just required to apply your brain correctly and you will find the answer easily. So to answer this, you will have the 30 seconds and your time starts now. Last 20 seconds. Last 10 seconds. All right, the time is going to be up and the time is up. So the correct answer is state of Telangana. Telangana was added in the year of 2014. Telangana was added in the year of 2014 and that made it 29 from 28. Okay. So that was done for the reorganization of the states. The enactment of Official Language Act in 1963. Okay. Like we know, when the India got independent, the linguistic basis had proposed two major challenges in front of us. First was the reorganization of the states. Second one was the official language of the union. Okay. So first was countered through the recommendation of State Reorganization Commission that was appointed between these years and the passing of State Reorganization Act in 1956. Through which we established 14 states and 6 UTs. But because of this, the pressure and the political conditions and the popular agitations, we still had to continue the bifurcation. And that's why in 2000, we reached 28 states and 7 UTs. And today we have 29 states and 9 UTs. That's how we resolved it. But the second issue of the official language, that was basically tried to be countered by the Official Language Act 1963. So that act was passed in 1963 and basically making Hindi as the official language of the union. Why? Because Hindi is the largest speaking group of the country. Okay. And that raised the anti-Hindi agitation in the South India and the West Bengal. Why? Because these states are not speak Hindi. West Bengal speak Bengali. In South India, there are 5 states: Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karnataka. Okay. Tamil Nadu speak Tamil. Kerala speaks Malayali. Telugu speaks in Andhra and Telangana. Then the Kannada speak in Karnataka. All right. So because of this, they are not the Hindi speaking states. Maharashtra speaks Marathi. All right. So this agitation was blowed out because of the passing of Official Language Act that made Hindi as the official language of the union. Okay. It means if someone is required to communicate with the government, then he or she is liable to communicate in the language of Hindi. Similarly, if the state will communicate with the citizens and passing the orders and all, so they all will be passed in Hindi. All right. And after this agitation, the central government assured that English would continue as the associate official language so long as the non-Hindi states speaking desires it. Okay, so like you can say, in the 1963, by passing of the Official Language Act, the central government made the official language as Hindi. But because of the agitation, because of the anger that was generated amongst the crowd because of that move, the central government assured like the English, okay, that is a common language speaking in every state, that would be continue and would be designated as an associate official language as long as the non-Hindi speaking states desired it to be. All right. So that was the reaction to the action. Now let's move forward. Moreover, to counter this issue, the three language formula came into the picture. The three language formula came into the picture, and these three languages were English, Hindi, and any regional language. English, Hindi, and any regional language for school system. But okay, let me tell you one thing. What was that system? Like basically, the education would be provided in English and Hindi and any regional language. Okay, so the concern of preserving the regional language by the locals, that would be resolved because their children are getting the education in their regional language also. But that formula is not being implemented in the Tamil Nadu and other states as well. Okay, so as a result of this, consequently Hindi could not emerge as the lingua franca of the composite culture of India as desired by the framers of the constitution. Like mostly members of the Constituent Assembly that were wanting Hindi to be the official language of the Union and to be designated as the lingua franca, the language of masses. The problem of linguism got accentuated with the rise of some regional parties in the recent times, like the parties like TDP, okay, that is Telugu Democratic Party or Telugu speaking people, AGP, Asum Gan Parishad for the Assami language, Shiv Sena for the Marathi language, and many other regional parties were formulated over the period of time that were basically supporting the language of their region over the language of the Union, Hindi. All right, that was the thing. So students, here we have finished the obstacles to the national integration. And how many obstacles were there? 4 obstacles were there. Like the regionalism, the love for some particular region, communalism, the love for some particular community or the religion, casteism, the love for some particular caste only, and the last was linguism. Okay, so we have finished all of these. Got it? Now what we are going to start in the national integration, that is the National Integration Council. Okay, National Integration Council. If we talk about it, we can say the National Integration Council, or the NIC in short, okay, was basically constituted in the 1961. Now this is the important thing. The question may be asked in the examination, when was the first time when the National Integration Council, that is responsible for making the policies and plans for the national integration, was constituted? So the answer is 1961. Okay, and that was following a decision that was taken at a national conference. Okay, and the topic of that national conference was unity in diversity. Unity in diversity. So as we know, we clearly know basically the national integration doesn't mean that we should make a homogeneous society, because that is not possible. Okay, even in the beginning we had discussed the same, like the removal of the differences that we have in the society and then make the homogeneous society. That is just a fair field, all right, or you can say a fairy tale, or just a daydreaming, because this could not be possible, because snatching the identity the people carries, okay, you could not make them united. Basically, the main aim, the ideal approach for the national integration should be making the people feels that they belong to the country first, while also having the diversities they contain. All right. So that's why even the national conference that was held, that was not the removal of the diversity. That was maintaining the unity in India, even having the diversities. Okay. And that was convened and called by the central government at the New Delhi. Okay. So we have got several inputs. The first, the National Integration Council was constituted in the 1961, was basically following a decision that taken place at a national conference on the unity in diversity that was convened by the central government at the New Delhi. Okay. If we talk about the composition of that particular council, that consists of the Prime Minister, who was also the chairman of that council, Central Home Minister or Union Home Minister, Chief Ministers of the respective states, 7 leaders of the political parties, and the chairman of the UGC. What is UGC? The University Grant Commission. Okay. 2 educationists, the commissioners for the SCs and STs, and 7 other persons that were nominated by the Prime Minister. So these all formulated the first NIC, the National Integration Council, that was constituted in the 1961. Okay. Council was directed to examine the problem of national integration in all aspects and make necessary recommendations to deal with these problems. Council made various recommendations for the national integration after the constitution. Okay, that was a thing. So students, basically in this lecture we have finished till here. In the next lecture we will continue from here. Till then, just revise the facts and figures at all we have discussed in this lecture. Be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and thank you.